Section 4, literal equations. Literal equations means you have an equation with more than one variable, and we have many of those. Usually it's x and y, but we have many formulas in science and so on that deal with more than just two variables. In which case we have to have the ability to solve for the one that is desired. In this particular case we have distance formula, which is d equals r times t. And they ask us to solve for t. Now it's important to know the relationships of all the letters. Are they being multiplied, divided, added, and subtracted? Because we have to understand PEMDAS, which helps us decide order of how to approach the problem. What can be done first and what can be done or should be done second. So this one, if we look closely, it's r times t, which means we would undo their relationship by division. So to separate them, we would divide both sides by the variable we don't want, which would give us an equation of t equals d over r. If we go to another question that has addition in there, if we go to number 14, here we have an equation with many letters. We have pi, which is a number, so don't get that mixed up with a variable. And we have r and h as well as s. And they want us to solve for h, which is right here. So we have to get everything else away. Now we can't do division or multiplication if there's addition or subtraction going on. So we have to do that first. So we'll start by moving the 2 pi r squared, which would give us s minus 2 pi r squared equals 2 pi rh. Again, we want to get h by itself. All of these are being multiplied, which means division is an option. And we divide by what we don't want, 2 pi r. So h is equal to s minus 2 pi r squared all over 2 pi r. And we would leave it like that. Sometimes we have parentheses. And here we have a decision to make. Sometimes it depends on what variable, it always depends on what variable we're solving for. But having parentheses means we're going to have to decide what has to be done first. Here we're solving for r, which is right here, which means I have to get everything else away. So there's two possibilities. We can divide both sides by p and undo that, which I can do because of the parentheses, or I can just distribute and go from there. Now as you do more and more questions, you'll start to develop a strategy for each. In this particular case, to keep our answer simple, I'm going to distribute the p, which will be p times 1, so p, and then PRT. Now again, we want to solve for r. So to get it alone, I'm going to subtract the p first, like in the last question. Addition, subtraction first. And then all of these are being multiplied, so we can divide by what we don't want. So r equals a minus p over pt. Now again, you could divide both sides by p first and go from there, but your answer would be equivalent but messier looking. Question which involves solving for y again. So if you look at 41, this is a question that's quite familiar. It looks like something in point-slope form. And this is still a literal equation. We've done it before. So this is merely an exercise in understanding that what we've been doing is already working with literal equations. It just only has two variables instead of more than that. So again, 4 times 1 over 7 is top times top, which would give us 4. Bottom times bottom, which would give you 7. We subtract 4. So y equals 1/7 x. Now again, if I write it right here, instead of below it, common denominator would be 7. And that's a negative 28. So 4 minus 28 would give us minus 24 over 7. And that is solved for y, and something that we've already done. And that ends literal equations.